As we journey through life, we come through tough times and good times. And how nice it is when we have people coming to bind us when we are going through the tough times. It's also very nice having people come to celebrate with us. That indeed is the essence of Household of Love. Bringing hope to individuals, bringing hope to the family, bringing hope to the community, and bringing hope to the world. Welcome to Candid Talk. Welcome to Candid Talk. Today we'll be talking about single parenting, and our guest is Stella Kasura.
Thank you.
I'd like to ask Stella to briefly tell us who Stella is.
My name is Stella Kasura, as you've correctly said it. I am a child of God, first of all. So I love Jesus Christ as my personal savior. I am a daughter to my late dad and my mom. I am a sister. I have a brother and two sisters. I am a mother. I have two grown adult children, a daughter and a son. But above all, I'm a woman. I'm a girl. I'm a lady. Everything that goes with womanhood. Yes. So from the small girl who would want to dress up with sometimes pink things and purple things and flowery, to that woman, that career woman who would want to put up suits and put up that serious face, the CEO face. Yes. So that's what I am. Yeah.
In our last session, we were talking about the joy of womanhood, and just saying that the joy of womanhood is when your father rises up to call you blessed.
Yes.
If you are married, your husband calls you blessed. If you have children, your children rejoice over you. Your siblings rejoice over you, you know. And I can't help but remember the love your father had for you, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that always brought so much joy to you, you know. Maybe say something about your dad.
As I mentioned, I come from a family of four. So I call myself a middle child because every other person in that family seemed to have a title. So my elder sister, she's the firstborn. Then we have a brother who is the only brother, so that's his title. And then there's me, and then there's my little sister.
Who is the last born.
So I carved this title for myself. I'm the middle.
To make you feel special.
To make me feel special.
Yes.
And at one point I was a last born to my dad and mom. So my other older siblings used to consider me to be a favorite to my dad. So I would go and ask dad. You know, those days when you were growing up, bread was very, very scarce, unlike nowadays, you know. So they would ask me to go and ask dad if they can give us some money to buy bread. So in the process, it was assumed, or it was looked like I was my dad's favorite.
Wow.
So my dad used to call me a peacock. That was his nickname for me. And the reason why he would do that is, I think my mom used to tell me as we were growing up, I was this child who was very, very specific. If I'm going outside, I would wear gumboots. If I'm inside, I would wear slippers. I never wanted to step down. You know those mud houses when you're growing up, and my grandmother used to react to that. But I never wanted to step on that floor. So that's how I got the name Peacock.
Peacock.
So that's how my dad would refer to me, and by virtue that I think also the person I'm named after would mean a lot to him. But also,
who are you named after?
I think I'm named after one of my aunties.
Okay.
So I don't know the kind of relationship they had. But yeah, so that's how, and people used to say I look like him more. Now among the three of us before my younger sister came, I was more my dad's side because he was brown, and by then I think I was the one who was very brown.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, back to our topic for the day. We are talking about single parenting. And personally, I feel it's an honor to be able to single parent. How do you come in this, you know? How do you come into the topic of single parenting?
Maybe if we go back to maybe how I knew you,
Yes.
and maybe that's how you brought me to this topic of single parenting. I'd just joined APHRC. I think it was about sometimes, I joined APHRC in March, and I think sometimes in April there.
That's what 2015.
2015 March. So I think I was to do an orientation with you.
Yes.
Because of the administration background. So I was supposed to be oriented with you. And I think the day I came to talk to you, and I just started crying. And the reason why I was crying is because my daughter did not have school fees. So she was not going to do the exams for that semester.
Yeah.
She had actually been chased to go home. And we had looked for money, and it was not possible. And that meant if she does not do the exams, it meant waiting for the other semester to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And it means also doing more papers during that specific semester if she had to catch up. So that's how I think I got now to be close to you. And from there we started this journey because you wanted to inquire more, you know, why I was crying and to find out. And that's when I started telling you the difficulties that we had. So yeah, so that's why I'm here today to speak about single parent, because now Julia knows more. She came into my life and now knew more of where I was coming from with the cry. Yeah, but how I got myself here, immediately after my 4th form, I moved in. I moved in with my children's father. So I got my children very early. Actually, I got my firstborn before I turned 19. Yes, and then I got my secondborn, I think, when I was just about 24. So yeah, so I got my children quite early, and we were living with their dad, and I think immediately after about 7 years of staying together, we had to part ways. So it didn't work out, and from then, now I've been single parenting my children.
How did it feel like parting? Was it hard? How was it for you? Were you scared?
Yes, it was very hard. But one of the things I remember, I've mentioned I have siblings, so I remember one of the things my elder sister told me is that these children will always be your children.
Yes.
It does not matter.
Yeah.
You know, whether they go with the father, whether you stay with them,
Yeah.
by virtue that you've given birth to them, you'll always be their mother, and that will never change that fact. So I think being able to reconcile with that fact, first of all, it was quite reassuring that role was never being taken away from me, the role of being a mother to them.
Yeah.
Because she was like, what about if, for example, their father would have died when they're young?
Exactly.
What would you have happened?
Yeah.
So she painted for me different scenarios to look at it, to be able just to go through the season of parting. It was not easy. As I mentioned, I got them when I was young.
Yeah.
So I'm a 24-year-old. I was living with my younger sister then also. She had just come to live with me. She had joined the university. So yes, I had a responsibility. I had a responsibility of a sister. And I had the responsibility of children.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm thinking of it first, financially. What did that mean? How did you go through the financial, or how do you go through the financial responsibility?
Yeah. One of the things
for us people who are married, the responsibility will be there, but there's a part that the spouse might do and another part that you do yourself. So what did it mean for you financially?
One of the things I thank God is that by then I was working. I was working with a manufacturing company. The pay was not much. I think back in the 2000, because I think we separated in 2000, if I'm not wrong. Yes, it's been about 20 years now. 2000, 2001 there. So it wasn't much. So that was the first thing that we needed to figure out. What about the financial? My daughter was in a private school then.
Yeah.
I had to get her out to take her to a public school. My son hadn't started school. He was very young. He was just about a year and a half. So he was home, but there was also the aspect of the nanny to take care of. So the first time I actually had to take my children to go and stay with my sister. I brought them in Nairobi.
Thank God for sisters.
Yes, and then now I used to operate from home. We were living in Webuye and I was working in Eldoret. So I would commute daily from home. Because we didn't have a home, we didn't have a house, you know, when we moved out. So that was my first plan, was to do that.
Yeah.
So then now my family was really behind my back.
Yes.
You know, because where we had reached, it was, it's okay, you can move out. We will see what to do. So just that assurance that they were going to walk this journey with me was quite important. So I knew wherever we were, with the little that we had, I think just having that family support was very important. So that's why I was confident to take my children to Nairobi, and that's why I was confident to operate from home.
And you must have missed the kids when they were in Nairobi.
Yes, I did. It wasn't easy. They were very young. It was not easy. But also, I was not also in a good position.
No.
You know, emotionally, I also wasn't in a good position. So I also felt, I don't think I would even have been doing justice to them in the first place, because I needed to mourn, first of all, the relationship myself. Before I can I can even be strong enough to raise them
to
up.
Take care of the kids.
Without them seeing me, without them looking at me mourning. So I think going back home used to provide for that opportunity. And commuting would provide for that opportunity. You would cry in the car, you would cry at home. So by the time you reach the office, you're settled, you know, or by the time you reach home, you're settled.
You're settled. So you were staying with your parents in Webuye?
Yes.
You'd leave Webuye to go and work in Eldoret?
Yes.
And come back every day?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
But I'm thinking about even just the fact that you have left what you thought was a marriage. I don't know what emotions you were going through. I know it's a long time ago, you know, but just thinking, I did not succeed. Probably a bit embarrassed, ashamed, you know. I have left my parents down. What kind of feelings were you going through? What kind of emotions did you have to grapple with?
One of the things is, you know, when you were growing up, marriage was supposed to work.
Yes.
And even up to now.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter whether you had a wedding or you had, but by virtue that you had moved in,
exactly,
you were looked
marriage.
as an item, and it was looked as marriage. So somehow it was supposed to work. So I think just being able to reconcile, first of all, for that it's not working.
Yeah.
It was very hard. Even to reach that place of, now I've had it and I have to leave.
I know.
It was it was quite a decision, because you always hope it would work. And then by virtue that children are there, that you would be blamed, that they will miss their parents, they will miss their dad, that you'd want it to work, to live in this family setup, where the functional family setup, where we have the father figure, the mother figure, and the children. And then, of course, the financial aspect, of course, the shame that comes with it, that you have to keep on explaining to people, where is their father, why are you not married, you know, those kind of things, why did you move? And unfortunately, also, it's normally harsher on the women. That's true. When they move out, because there's always something wrong with them. They are considered, you cannot persevere, you cannot be able to suck it in.
Exactly. For
the sake of the children or for the sake of the community. So it's even harsher if you are a woman and you have to move out. So those were some of the things that really I was grappling with.
Yes.
I was then a newly born again Christian.
Yeah.
I gave my life to Christ when my son was 2 months old.
Oh, wow.
So even that aspect of, is this what it means to be born again? You know,
I know, I
to
know.
go through this. You say you're born again, and here you are living what is considered a marriage to go out. So even the faith aspects,
Yeah.
it was really quite something to reconcile with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things that I think about and talk about people being harsher on the woman, it breaks my heart that the society can be very harsh. Harsh in the sense that, for example, the fact that I am married doesn't necessarily make me better than you. It is by God's grace, you know. And sometimes when a marriage breaks, sometimes we are too judgmental, which is not right. Sometimes we are judgmental on somebody who may be reacting. We don't know why they're reacting, how they're reacting. You know, it could be that the other person who looks so nice, well put together, you know, has really also had tough input into the marriage. But here is this person who may be overreacting. In most cases, it's the women who will overreact. And sometimes they're overreacting because of a lengthy time of feeling hurt, feeling not heard, feeling not listened to. And so I feel like we are sometimes so tough or so harsh to a couple whose things are not going well, you know. And so we do not take them in and help them to walk out of it, you know. We do not realize that it's God's grace that we may have what seems to be good, because it may actually not be as good as it may look like, you know. And so I kind of feel that sometimes we are tougher on single parents and on people who walk out of marriages, you know, because sometimes the walking out may be better than what you see on the television. Somebody killed another one, somebody killed themselves, you know. So that's what my comment would be on that. I don't know what you'd have to say about that.
Yeah, one of the things I realized is that the community where we are in,
Yes,
can either break you or can either build you up.
that's true. That's
You
true.
know.
Yeah.
So it's almost choosing what to listen. But as you say,
And which friends to keep.
and which friends to keep.
Yeah.
But as you say, the first thing is, for a woman, you are supposed to take everything in, you know. And remember, when you're growing up, even beating of a woman is supposed to have been looked as one way of disciplining the woman. And it was accepted, you know. So it was not a big deal. So if you were to bring that up as one of the issues,
Yeah.
it was not a big deal.
Yeah.
Whether someone is providing or not, it was not a big deal, you know, because it would have been looked at something else. So that violence...
Even infidelity.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
I was talking to a lady who said she was not happy because her husband was moving around.
Yeah.
And the mother-in-law and the mother could not understand. Is that something to make you move out, you know?
Yeah.
I don't think that we realize how painful it is to a woman when there's infidelity.
Yeah.
And even even those of us who understand still are just not gracious enough, you know. So there's no grace, really, especially for women. There's no grace. Sometimes we, even us as women, tend to excuse the man while we do not stand with the lady, you know. And I think it's a sad thing. It's a sad thing. It makes people live in loneliness.
Yeah.
It makes people live in doubt, in fear, you know. And it makes me think of a scripture that I wanted to read. That I like that we can depend on God when things are not easy. That's Psalm chapter 68. I think I'll read verse 4 up to verse 6, where it says, "Sing to God, sing praise to his name, extol him who rides on the clouds. His name is the Lord, and rejoice before him. A father to the fatherless,
Oh, yes.
a defender to the widows,
Yes.
is God, in his holy dwelling. God sets the lonely in families. He leads forth the prisoners with singing, but the rebellious live in a sun-scorched land. You know, I think that when we trust God, when we are going through those things, when we look for answers in God, he has a way of taking us and placing us with other people who will stand with us,
Yes.
who will walk with us.
Oh, that's true.
You know,
That's
So
true.
I really like that scripture.
That's true.
Yeah.